Good afternoon, everyone. This is Leon from Edumetry. We want to thank every one of you for joining us today. We also want to take this opportunity to thank your teachers, counselors, and your principals as well for making this webinar possible. Before we start with our webinar today, we also want to encourage you to ask any questions you have during the webinar. Anytime you have a question, just put it in the chat box or raise your hand, and then we'll address your questions accordingly. All right. And today's speaker will be from SEGi University, Ms. Priya. She will be talking about career and education. I think this is the very first time that we are doing a webinar that's related to education. We are very excited to hear this. We hope you are excited as well. And without further ado, I will pass the time to Ms. Priya. Hi, Ms. Priya. Can you say?
Hi, thanks, Leon. Welcome, everyone, on a nice sunny Thursday afternoon. And I think by joining the webinar, you guys made the right decision today to spend your time productively. So thank you all for joining today. Okay, so today's topic is going to be on awakening your passion towards a teaching career. All right. So passion, what is passion? You know, passion is a very strong emotion, right? A desire that, towards achieving something. Right. And everybody, we all have a different a passion when it comes to, achieving something in our life, what you call as a career goal or something like that. And when we are talking about something that is passionate to us, we are more prepared in terms of, working towards achieving that goal. Because why? Because we love to do things. Right. So for some, probably they're very passionate about, arts, and some they're very passionate about music. Right. So people, the things that you like, you tend to spend more effort and more, time investing your time on that to achieve that and, make that as your career. Right. So today we will look at what are some of the qualities and what are some of the preparations that you can do in terms of, awakening your passion towards a teaching career. And why teaching career? Because this is going to be the new way forward. Okay, so let's see why. Right, so what does this 21st century education look like to you? Now, ever since the pandemic happened, we all, know that the education, not only just education, in all sectors, people, have gone through a tremendous or drastic changes in their, be it their lifestyle or be in their, social communication, or even in terms of, education as such, right? So what is it going to be like? Is it going to be the same way throughout after the, pandemic, or are there going to be any changes in the field of education? Right. So friends, let me tell you, 15 years from now, we will see an education which has, a drastic amount of changes that has gone through, where textbooks are going to be replaced by tablets, that is iPads, and having a fixed school hours is going to be something like, it's a thing of past, because, it's always going to be very flexible and it's going to be very learner centered. Right. So as things are changing more and more, you can see that the roles of the teachers also keep changing, as the technology keeps changing. Right. And, if whatever that we are doing, is a result of the choices that we make. And if, let's say, if you don't like to do something, then it is time to start making better choices. Right. So the same thing applies even when you choose a career. You are choosing a career that will work for you, where you will become an expert in overtime through the various experiences and the right type of education that you are going to choose. So coming back to these career choice, how are we going to equip ourselves, in to the job market, right? By choosing the right career for us, given these technological changes, the transformation. So today, we're talking about things like automation. 1/4 of the jobs, in future is going to be in danger, right? The number of robots, doing human jobs, it's going to increase by 14% each year. right? So, and workers at very junior positions like, administration and so on, they all are going to face the biggest threat of automation, right? And by 2030, artificial intelligence is going to, boom the world economy. All right. So 50% of the jobs, in the market are going to not require even, a bachelor's degree, because these are in jeopardy of automation. All right. So given all these, so which is the field that, would be more suitable for us to sustain, right? So this is something which is very questionable and something which we all need to think about. And currently, the IR 4.0, the Industrial Revolution 4.0, and the Education 4.0 is what we call as the current state of education, okay, with all these digital tools, right? And the newly aligned educational goals. All these are originating from the industry 4.0, or, to and going more towards, artificial intelligence. But in having said all of these, definitely there is going to be a drastic shift in the classroom design, right? So it's no more going to be, the teaching profession or career, which, we all always have been experiencing, like the very didactic lectures, and the students sitting in front of the teachers. It is all going to change into a different landscape, right? So students are allowed to bring in their own devices, right, to the classroom, and they can actually tune to the lectures or to the classes, depending on the place where they are, because it is all going to be based on technology. And this rapid shift, will help us to have a better idea of how things are going to be different in a 21st century classroom. Okay, the focus is more going to be on what the students can do with all these resources that are available for them, right? So it is no more going to be a memorization of discrete facts. And at the same time, the learning style of the children are students, are going to be very flexible and very student-centered. Okay, where the teacher is only a knowledge provider, in the sense the teacher is going to only give information or resources of where students can actually seek their own answers, right? So inquiry based, they are going to be actively engaging in research related activities, right? Or they're going to be engaging themselves in hands-on activities, okay, by which they can actually gather an experience of the knowledge that they want to provide, right? So all of these can also tell us that the role of the teacher in the 21st century classroom is also going to take a transformation, right? Where the teacher is going to be expected to be very well versed in technology. So the teacher who is going to be embracing the technology of today's future is going to actually create a real world transformation. Okay, and who will be the best people actually to embrace the latest technology? It is the youth of the country, right? So you guys are, the tech savvies. So you would be the right people to, discover your passion towards teaching career, right? So having said all these, we can also say that, whether the teachers are going to be then replaced by robots, because, we're talking about automation and everything is going to be based on technology. Now, you can say that, one of the sustainable profession that is going to remain in the future is the education system. And only as good as the teachers who provide this hands-on schooling, can claim and say that today's robots, simply cannot match human teachers in the quality of the education they provide to the students. Okay, so however, it is also not possible that it is also possible that no robot will ever be good enough to replace teachers completely. So having given these advantages of the profession in teaching, right? So maybe all of you are wondering, will is teaching a good career for the future, right? So teaching offers an individual the opportunity to exchange your ideas and knowledge, right? It is no more like knowledge providing, it is more of knowledge sharing, where the teaching becomes an enjoyable experience for both the students as well as to the teachers as well. And the students in the class are going to become more proactive in their learning, and the teaching is considered to be a very a respectful profession in almost all countries, right? And at the same time, we can also say that, as a teacher or as a person or an individual who has a passion to become a teacher, right, or to develop a career in teaching, need to have all these 21st century classroom skills. Okay, and what are these 21st century classroom skills? Basically the management of time, right? How you're going to manage your time, how responsible you are, and accountable you are, and how well you're able to communicate. Okay, communication is going to really play a vital role in your profession as a teacher, right? And how well you are motivated as a self, and how well you are also capable of motivating the students, right? And you're going to engage yourself in a lot of creative based activities, and also performing a lot of self-assessment, reflecting your own work at the end of the day, whether what are the things that you need to work on, to achieve your goals, right? So, and what sort of technological skills that you need to acquire in order to prepare yourself for this sustainable career in future, right? So all of these are very, very important skills we can say that a teacher can possess, right? So the 21st century educator is seen as a professional with all these characteristics. So that means the person has to be an adapter. Adapter means like, she or he needs to adapt, okay, to the environment or the changes in the environment or changes in the tools that they're going to be using for their profession, right? And they're going to also become a good communicator, right? Convincing, right? When talking to people. And at the same time, you also need to be equally a learner, right? Or learn things along with your students. And you need to have a far vision for your students as well, right? You also need to be a role model, and you also need to be a risk taker, right? A risk taker in the sense like willing to try out new things, right? And embrace the new things or embrace the change, that awaits you in the future. And talking about the education 4.0, the World Economic Forum reports that the fourth industrial revolution will cause 7 million job losses by 2020. All right. And most of these job related losses are due to automation, right? Because, no more, humans are needed to perform certain tasks. So those are actually automated by robots. And technological advances will, however, also create 2 million new jobs, particularly in the fields of mathematics, computer science, architecture, and engineering, which is all a part of your, what you so called as a STEM education, right? So which means, a person who is very knowledgeable in these areas are the ones who can become, successful teachers. All right. So to build a sustainable career in the 21st century, no matter whatever job or whatever occupation you're doing, you no longer just require only the academic qualification or just technical or just professional knowledge. You need a range of personal as well as professional competencies, right? So you need to be academically qualified. You also need to provide, or you also need to possess the technical skills. At the same time, you also need to grow, as a professional, right? So all of these are some capabilities that will equip you to lead a very successful career in whatever you want to pursue, right? And teaching is no less than that, because if you want to reimagine what education can really be, and as educators, you are going to be the one who is going to prepare the people for the future, right? Because we need to take the advantages of given all the advantages of the technical advancements and the technological developments in the field, right? So we're going to take all of these in our hands, and we're going to see how well we will be able to provide these challenges, or probably how we will be able to handle all of these challenges in personalizing our profession towards the career in teaching, so that we are able to make a future generation a more professional, which can contribute to the economy of the country. Right. So now, having talked so much about the technological advancement, or the industrial revolution and so on, which probably some of you might not even heard about, or probably some of you might have heard about, but you really do not know what it really means, you would be wondering, okay, now choosing your subjects in the university, or wondering, like, how safe, or depending on whatever subjects that I'm going to be taking. Now, would this actually provide me a job placement? Okay, is there a guarantee for a job placement if I chose this career, right? So innovation experts, they published a report which reveals the most in-demand jobs in 2030, right? By the time, it is 2030, what sort of jobs that will be in the market, sustainable in the market, and what qualities the recruiters, or the job hunters, they are looking for, right? Because when you're talking about choosing a career, you also need to look at the prospects of how you will be able to get a placement after completing your degree, or your diploma and so on, right? So considering all of these factors, such as automation, urbanization, and given the mindset of people, the older generation and so on, you need to have some impact on the job skills, that you will be learning as a process, or during your degree programs, right? And what we have, what these future workforce will need is a variety of knowledge-based skills and specializations, pertaining to certain industry, right? Whether it is going to be a teaching industry, or it is going to be an engineering, or it's going to be, a business industry, whatever it is, okay? But in majority of the career research, right? Career research, teachers and other public sector jobs fare very well against the threat of automation. So which means it is a sigh of relief, for those who are in the field of education, or those who are in the, field of teaching, right? Because, we don't have to fear of automation, right? Because no robots can actually replace, human beings, when it comes to teaching a profession, right? Robots can't get their principles around interpersonal skills just yet, okay? Because as a teacher, you need to have those interpersonal skills, which only human beings can provide, right? So now, having, said all of these advancements in the field of education, and giving you all a very abstract picture of how the future teaching profession, or the teaching career would look like. Now you're putting all these puzzle pieces together, right? Whether being it your interest, or probably, your goals, like passion, and the education, the right type of education that you're choosing, and how well you're going to prepare yourself, all right, in pursuing, or in working towards achieving your goals, and at the same time, what are the skills that you need to acquire, right? And then start planning to choose your right career, and then you that will actually take you to the job market. All right, so putting all these puzzle pieces together, we can say that it again falls back on your individual personality type. All right, now you may be wondering, hey, what is this, all the while she's been talking about teaching career and then some technological advancements and so on. I mean, I'm kind of like, lost, or I'm kind of getting a bit, curious as to where, she's heading to. So given all these, their research also suggests that personality might determine the career path you choose. Okay, and it may predict whether you will be happy or unhappy when you get into a particular job. All right. So the several studies have also shown that people who are holding on to certain jobs with characteristics and tasks that are related to their personality are more productive, they're more happier, and make more money as well. Right. So knowing your personality trait can give you a lot of insights about yourself, right? So like what motivates me, how to be more efficient, and how do I understand myself, and how do I perhaps choose the best career for me, right? So all of these depends entirely, on your personality type. So that is why we need to also, not just go by what the advancement in the field, or what qualities we possess, or what salary it's going to fetch. More than all these, you must know what personality type you fall under. And for each and every personality type can be many things. We'll talk about that later. But knowing your personality, so what is knowing your personality means? Basically it's about knowing your strengths, your personal strengths, right? And also like you have seen in the movies, the Avengers or the Marvel movies, or even in like Game of Thrones, if you are in touch with all these movies, you will know that every person will have a unique quality, right? They have their own strengths and they have their own weakness, right? So this is something which we are talking about in terms of your personality. So each person is different, just like your fingerprints. And knowing your personal strengths will increase your understanding. Okay, so that means you will be able to make a better picture of which career or which field would be suitable for you. All right. Now, having said that, I'm not going to talk to you about where this personality traits are coming from, or I'm not going to talk about the science behind that. But in short, I just want you to kind of like know that there are few combinations of personality type which we all might fall under. Right? So basically these personality types can vary, like introvert or extrovert, sensing or intuitive, or thinking or feeling, or judging or perceptive, right? So, and each of these dimensions, they have their unique qualities. All right. So like if you are, let's say, an extrovert, you will be more energized by people because you are a very people person. You enjoy, doing a variety of tasks. Like, you are like, a multi tasking person, right? And you will also, have good interpersonal skills as an extrovert. All right. And let's say if you're an introvert, doesn't mean that, you are not capable of multitasking or whatever. But comparatively, compared to the extroverts, as an introvert, you would like to kind of be in your own company, or you would like to work all by yourself, or you will also, be fine with working in small groups, right? Based on your preferences and your choices, right? And you would be like, more organized in terms of like maybe you will be like more in terms of like focusing on one task at a time. All right. So, and then the senses type and the intuitive type, all of these people, they have different qualities as well. And if you fall under the sensor type, you are more realistic people. Like you need everything in black and white, that you need facts, you need details, you need step-by-step instructions for you to carry out certain tasks and roles, right? And if you're an intuitive person, maybe you will focus a lot on the possibilities, and you will be easily able to see that the patterns or the innovation, and you will be more of like a very creative person, and you will be more into like problem solving and so on. Yeah, so just to name a few, these are the qualities of each of us. But having said that, we all don't fall under just one type, in a sense, like, you can't be extrovert all the time, you can't be introvert all the time, and you can't be sensing or intuitive all the time, right? We all have a different combination of these personality types. Somebody must be like, extrovert and sensitive and thinking and perceptive, and some others may be like, introvert, intuitive, feeling, and also judging. All right, so you can see that there are various combinations that makes us all unique as a person. Now, why is it that suddenly I'm talking about personality types? Because this is something which is very important for you to know before you want to choose any career for you. All right. And some of the sample careers, let's say if you are an extrovert, okay, these are all the possible career opportunities that are suitable for you, right? Like you can be a teacher, you can be a professor, or you can be a human resource person, or you can be a business management person. And if you are an introvert, you can try something into like software engineering, because you are not a people person, so probably you choose to mix more with machines than people, right? So yeah, so you can be a software engineer or a graphic designer, I mean, pharmacist and artist and so on, right? So let's say if you're a sensing and intuitive person, as a sensing person also, you have so many choices, wide variety of choices, right? You can be a judge, you can be a lawyer, you can be a police officer, you can be a business executive, right? And if you're intuitive, you can become a scientist, writers, psychologists, artists. Okay, these are all the choices. And at the same time, if you're thinking and feeling, you also have a variety of combinations of careers that you can choose. Now, whatever be your personality type, whether you fall under the EISJ, or I mean INTJ, or ENTP, these combinations, whichever combination that you are in terms of your personality type, you can always see that there is one profession or one career that suits all personality types, right? Okay, which is, of course, I've highlighted it, I do need to say that, teaching profession, where you fit into all of these easily, because you already have the natural trait of becoming a teacher, because a teacher carries various roles, and a teacher is someone who wear like many hats, right? So sometimes you may have to be an extrovert, sometimes you may have to be an introvert, sometimes you may have to be very intuitive, sometimes you have to be very judging. Yeah, so all of these are very important in terms of being a successful teacher, right? And if you have all of these qualities in you, then teaching profession would be the right career choice that you would be making, right? So career as a teacher, is like it's a passion about educating people. And what is being a teacher all about? Basically, teaching is the profession that teaches all of the other profession. Yes, doctors, engineers, a software analyst or financial analyst or a business executive, whoever they are, they all have come across, a teacher who had actually, played a role in their life, right? And as I told you, the teachers wear many hats, right? They are imparter of knowledge, knowledge sharing. And then they are communicators, they are leaders, right? They need to lead the team, right? And they have to also be a part of the team. And they also are lifelong learners, because they also learn along while educating their students. And they also are educators, and they are scientists. Why they are scientists? Scientists means like not necessarily you have to invent something like what Thomas Alva Edison did, or Albert Einstein did. No, it is something like, because you have to engage yourself in a discovery process, right? So you need to discover new ways of teaching, or new ways of identifying the right tools to teach your students, right? So that you also are keeping an up-to-date knowledge on what you are doing. And above all, you also need to be a counselor, where you need to talk to children and motivate them, at various aspects. Or even it could be like, something like what I'm doing right now, giving them a talk on what career choices that they can make, right? So all of these are, you can say that some of the qualities that a teacher possess, right? So why become a teacher? Because you understand that it is one of the most interesting and challenging and noble professions that exist. And again, no other profession can have this personal touch with, just like how you have this personal touch and rapport with your students, right? And these are possible only, if you are really passionate about pursuing a career in teaching. Right. So now we talked about the qualities of a teacher and why I should become a teacher or why I should not become a teacher. Is it because I belong to this personality type? Is it because I belong to that personality type? Put that aside. Now let's look at how we can qualify ourselves, all right, in order to become a teacher in future, where you understand that since this is going to be one of the sustainable profession, in the future industry. So you can actually choose to do your degree in Bachelor's of Education. Now you can see that Bachelor's of Education, and you see the HONS in the bracket. Yeah. So some of you may be wondering, what is that? Is it something, a new specialized field or something? When you see a B.Ed, Bachelor of Education with honors, that means it comes with a research module. So which means you will also be, engaging in professional activities by performing like, small scale research, right? So that is added credibility, because later on when you want to do your post graduation like masters, or if you really want to be in the field of research, then where you will want to do your PhD or whatever. So that for that actually this B.Ed honors will help you to qualify you in order to achieve your long-term goals of being in the teaching profession. And so, okay, so having said that, we know that Bachelor's of Education is the right way to start your profession in terms of teaching. You may be wondering, okay, what sort of a teaching specialization that I can go into, right? So we do have these options of, whether you want to pursue a teaching career, as a language teacher, that is, teaching English as a second language. If you think your language skills are very good, right, and you think you will make a difference in the student's life, so you can probably decide or consider to go for this. And again, if you are a person who like to work with the community, and if you are a person who likes to create a difference in someone's life, then maybe you can choose to go into special educational needs as your career as well, right? So you will learn a lot about how to handle. Now I wouldn't say that these people are disabled. I would say that these people are differently abled, right? Because not everybody, we've come across the different personality types, and we all know that not all of us are the same. We all are different. So the same way, you are actually trying to work with people who are differently abled, and you want to make a difference in their life, then probably you can go and choose this profession of being a special needs educator. And the other one that you can see here is the guidance and counseling, which is, when you want to, naturally, probably, you have this, you have this quality in you that, every time when someone has any problem, why is it that they always come to me and, they always take my opinion? Or maybe, even among your friends, you will see that, you're very popular in terms of problem solving. When someone has a fight, or some among the friends, if they're not talking to each other, maybe you are the one, who tries to, calm them, and who try to, give them some kind of reassuring, communication, or reassuring talk to them, so that, they feel better and so on. Yeah. So if you are, if you have the natural inclination towards this, then probably guidance and counseling would be the right choice of, bachelor's degree that you can pursue. And let's say you say that, oh, okay, English, that everybody is doing that. And then maybe special needs, oh, I don't know what really I have to do in that. I have no idea about that. And guidance and counseling, maybe I'm not a person who, really want to, intrude into others' life and, just give them advice. No, I don't want that. But I like to be around children. I like to be with infants, with toddlers. I love children, because it's easier for me to manage them and so on. So if you really think that you have a passion towards working with very young children, then early childhood education and care will be the right choice that you can make. All right. So, so having said that, when you decide to choose a career in the teaching profession, these are the various field of specializations that is offered to you, and you can take your call, depending on what are your personal strengths and what are your personal needs as well, right? And when we are talking about choosing these careers, now we also want to know, okay, now, all right, let's say, Ms. Priya, you are saying that, I want, these are the specializations like guidance and counseling, early childhood care and education, and, TESOL and so on. So what are the job prospects for me? What should I see myself as, down the lane, maybe in another 5 years or 6 years time? Maybe you can see yourself as an entrepreneur, by opening your own childcare settings or kindergarten settings, or probably you could be an early childhood educator, or you could also be a special needs educator, or an early intervention provider, or you can also, be a consultant, who will provide ideas of how to start your business in early childhood, right? So there are many, many, many options, and these are options, which is always available to you in the market, okay? Because trust me, like, people are not going to stop producing babies, right? So you are going to have children throughout your future generation. As long as there are children in the future, you will have a need for a teacher always, right? So possible jobs for your career in terms of English as a second language is, like, of course, again, you can become a freelance tutor. Maybe if you want your own timings, and if you want your own you want to work at your own schedule, then freelance tutoring or educating, of English language could be a better choice for you. And you can also work as an editor, in the editorial, column, like in newspaper, or, if it's a magazine and so on. And you can also be a proofreader, and you can also, work at various levels in both primary as well as secondary schools. You can also become an entrepreneur where you open your own language center, right? And if, let's say if you're really keen on teaching adults who wants to pursue a language, as the career, then you can also become a lecturer or a researcher, right? So yeah, so these are some things that I can tell you that, that has a great scope for a career in education. All right. And the titles that you would be working with in terms of, selecting or choosing these professions, where you will be working as childcare workers, or you'll be working as a recreational therapist, or freelance educators, or social workers, and the settings where you would be working would be sometimes school settings, or it could be institutions, of special educational needs. And also, institutions and higher learning, like, let's say if you are very keen to pursue, lecturing in the field of education, then you may want to also, look up for opportunities in universities and colleges and so on. And apart from that, you can also become your own, you can become a self-trainer, right? You can, be a facilitator, you can organize workshops, you can organize seminars, right? All of these are also possible careers which are available in the industry, in case if you think that probably what sort of job scope do I have if I pursue a career in education. All right. And with that said, of course, the rewards are plenty for you, because it is a whole lifetime of opportunities where you can work with people, and you're not tied to just sitting in one place and just doing all the work the whole day and getting tired. No, you will have a lot of mobility, you will have a lot of flexibility, and at the same time, your responsibility and your role is always in demand, right? And this is also will provide you to be a member, respectable member of the society in a community. All right. And being a teacher actually allows you a good living with a secured future. All right. So think about it, whatever that we have discussed all this while, whether it is looking at the future technology or the advancement in the technical field, or probably choosing, knowing your personality and choosing the right, probably this could be the right choice for you, and you could be the right person to become a future educator. And all in all, I would like to quote Walt Disney's that if you can dream it, you can do it. All right. So that's it from me. And thank you so much for being lovely audience and patiently listening to me all this while. Okay. Thank you and have a good day. And if you have any questions, feel free to share it in the chat box here, or you can also, unmute yourself and you can speak with one of us, and we will see, we'll be happy to share what we know. All right. Thanks everyone for joining me today.
Thank you, Ms. Priya. Students, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the chat box. I think right now we have a few questions on our side as well. So Ms. Priya, being an educator yourself, right? What would you say is the most challenging aspect of being an educator?
Okay, the most challenging part of being an educator is you need to keep updating, the knowledge. You need to keep abreast of the technical advances, and also the update in terms of the research methods, the materials, the tools, and the resources that which you need to keep embracing. Because if you don't accept these as your challenge and work towards it, you would become stagnant. So that's what I would foresee as a major challenge in the field of education.
So most educators, are also continuously learning themselves, to improve themselves, to, meet up with the demands, right? Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it is interesting because you see, now the whole world, is so used to the online way of having the meeting and having the, even like, for example, like our webinar that we are having right now. 2 years back, we didn't know that we'd be doing something like this. I remember the last time when I went to give the talk in PJ, one of the schools. It's a girls' school. So it was a physical talk session. So it was quite interactive and quite interesting, where the students, they really came up with a lot of questioning, related to their careers and so on. But now you see, students are all watching this online, and then I'm sure they have lots to take in, because as they were listening to me, because there are a lot of information that they are processing currently, and yeah, so I would say that probably these are something which is very interesting, that we need to adapt ourselves actually, so that we are able to do better.
Speaking of being online and doing things remotely, like what we are doing now, so in your opinion as an educator, is there a difference between on-site learning and remote learning? is one better than the other? Is it different for like different levels? For example, early childhood, primary, secondary, and tertiary. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's actually a very, very, interesting question, but yet a very challenging question to answer as well, because you see, it's very, as you said, I mean, as you rightly said, because it is not about whether, teaching physically, as a physical classroom or teaching in a virtual classroom, whether which is better. It has its own pros and cons. Even in a physical classroom, we may not have all the resources that we need, right? So even though, let's say sometimes you may want to show certain things to the children because certain concepts are very abstract, right? Which the children cannot imagine or think about, or probably they wouldn't have experienced it, right? So in case like if you have a kind of like smart board facility or a internet facility in a classroom, then it is easier for you to actually show that at least as a visual media for children to understand it better, right? But in case if these things are absent in a physical classroom, then that would become a very challenging task for the teacher to let the children understand these abstract concepts. And similarly, like in a virtual class, you may want the children to perform certain physical activities, but which the children, you won't know whether all the children are doing it or not, unlike if you have it in a physical class. So it has its own pros and cons. And again, coming back to the one that you were asking rightly, like there are different challenges at various levels. Now, if you see, like for very young children, it is very difficult to keep them focused or make them sit in front of the screen, and even if they want to sit in front of the screen, maximum that they can focus is just 20 minutes, not more than that, and that too with the help of the parents or guardians at home. And if you look at older group of children, probably I mean, they are very tech savvy, so right now when I'm talking, probably they're just putting their headphones on and they're opening other windows or tabs, watching a YouTube, or they're watching their animes and whatever. So we do not know. So those are also certain challenges that we face at every level. Yeah.
I mean, there are good aspects of it. I mean, you did mention that tech will never replace, teachers, which I agree with that. But what I do think is that tech does enhance, the teaching experiences.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. Definitely. That's why I'm saying, we need to have a balance. But again, it is not something that's going to completely replace your role as a teacher, because, still, whatever said and done, even though you have virtual sessions, you have webinars and all that, nothing like, meeting people face to face and, having that type of a rapport building, which you otherwise, will not be able to do it virtually. Right. So, but again, thanks to the technology at the same time, because, these 2 years actually have, made us all learn so much in terms of using technology, which in fact, we didn't even know, 2 years ago that these things exist,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think on my screen here, there is a few qualifying degrees for education, right? These are the things that I guess these are the main branches of education.
Yes.
What would you say, on which branch would there be, increasing demand, in the future, versus what we have now?
Okay, so now when we're talking about a demand as such for each of these qualifying degrees, we can't really say that, probably I cannot say like, teaching English, this is going to be the most wanted profession, or probably, early childhood education and care, this is the most wanted one. It is nothing like that. But how we are able to, as I told you, how we are able to use the 21st century, skills, and how we are able to plan our instructional approaches, using these technological advancements, that is where you are creating a difference and you are establishing an identity for yourself.
Very interesting. Okay. I guess an unrelated question, but this was mentioned earlier during your session. You talk about knowing one's strength and weaknesses, right, in order to decide what kind of courses or careers they should pursue, right? So I guess this is more of an advice to students. So obviously, once we know our strength and our weaknesses, in your opinion and experience, which one should we focus on more? Should I focus on making my strength better, or should I focus on improving on my weaknesses so I'm more well-rounded in a sense?
Okay, all right. So
Mm.
I would probably say that once you are able to identify your strengths, right, and automatically, you will know what your needs are, right? I wouldn't say probably those are weakness. Maybe those are certain limitations that we all have, right? Because ultimately we all have to agree that no one is perfect. Everybody, we all have our own pluses and minuses, right? But the thing is how much you are able to capitalize and how much you are able to perform using your strengths, that matters a lot in your success, right? So, and the way in which you are going to further strengthen your skills based on the strengths, you will also be able to overcome your limitations over a period of time. Okay, so your strength is going to be very supportive, and it's going to be a very balancing in terms of compensating your limitations as well.
Right. Yeah, I think that's very good advice, especially for our audience at this age.
Oh, I think I see a question here.
Oh.
What made you, from Alex? From Alex, I have a question. What made you decide to take up education? Okay, that's a very interesting question. Okay, thanks, Alex, for asking that. I was like you, when I was probably finishing my schooling, I was also like, kind of like lost. Where do I go? What career should I choose and all that. So at that time, there were not much of these type of career awareness, right? Because you're asking me because I'm way older than you, so I'm talking something about the millennial century, yeah. Based on that, of course, there were a few trial and errors which I had to do, in terms of choosing my career. And eventually, over a period of time, when I started working, I didn't see myself as a teacher, but then I started discovering my passion towards teaching. Right, because it's a simple fact that I really enjoyed, interacting with children, and as and when I was also interacting with the children, I was also, having these question in myself, okay, I seem to have a liking towards the children. So what do I do next to equip myself to, if I really want a career, that involves me working with the children. So that is when, I decided that, okay, so the calling is there. So I went and I pursued my master's in education, and yeah, so that's how, till today, I really have no regrets, and I'm really enjoying my journey as a teacher, or as a lecturer, as an advisor, as a counselor, whatever you want to call it. Alex, I don't know whether I have answered your questions. Yeah, but then, yeah, this is it.
I mean, since that you mentioned that you're comfortable with dealing with children, you like dealing with children. I guess my next question is that an important aspect, of being an educator?
Okay. All right. So thanks for asking me that, because I've asked myself this question so many times. Yes, of course, having an interest towards the children alone does not qualify you to make you a successful teacher. All right, because there's again still a lot of difference, because when it comes to seeing children from a distance, it might look very cute and very easy going job, right? But at the same time, when you are into the situation, that is where you need to know how you can actually make or create a difference, and you need to ask yourself, what is it that, again, coming back to your strengths, what is my strength that I can use in order to work with these children, or what are certain limitations that I need to work on or overcome if I want to work with these children. And the main thing that I feel, working with children, or having an interest with children, is you will tend to learn a lot from them, because in the process of educating them, you also educate yourself. And children, particularly whatever age they are, whether they are in early childhood, or whether they are in their adolescence or whatever, they look up to their teachers as a role model. So what you teach them, or what you educate them, or what you preach them, you have to follow yourself first. So you will automatically get that consciousness when you are a teacher. So I think that is what is more important, the adaptability, and how well you can actually, you have the attitude, the right attitude to mold yourself, so that you can give more to the children as well, and at the same time you can also personally grow as a teacher.
Yeah, I think I agree that being a teacher is definitely a very noble and rewarding career. I think most of us here can relate to that. All of us have probably a handful of memorable teachers that really put an impression in our lives, other than just education, but it always goes beyond that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right. I think our time is almost up. I think we can take another question if students have any questions. But before that, KK, can you give us a quick briefing on what are the entry requirements to take up Bachelor's of Education in SEGi?
Yes, no problem. Hi everyone, my name is KK. I'm a SEGi course counselor. So basically, right, I think most of you are from IGSE or maybe like from SPM. So the entry requirement is very, very simple. 3 credits, then you may go to for diploma. All right, diploma and then degree. So if let's say you got more than 5 credits, you can consider for diploma or foundation. So if let's say you're joining for foundation will be 1 year, and then degree will be 3 years. And about the fees are almost similar, just about the duration. So some people will say, then how about I will go for foundation or will go for diploma? Depends on you. If let's say your objective is until degree, no matter how you'll be studying until degree, then and you have more than 5 credits, you can consider about foundation, because this is the fastest and the cheapest way to complete until degree. All right. So basically, for diploma, we're offering scholarship, and for foundation, we're offering scholarship as well. For foundation, minimum 5 credits, we offer you 100% scholarship. The term and condition is very simple. Continue for the degree, and the degree you're still able to apply scholarship using your foundation result. But what if your result are not so good? Like just 3 credits or maybe 4 credits? Then no worries. We still give you some of the scholarship. So after the scholarship rebate everything, right? Your fees for diploma is only 20,000. Only 20,000 is very, very attractive and affordable fees for those of you are interested in the diploma. All right. So basically, if let's say you got more than that, more A, but you are looking for students study diploma, of course your fees will be lower than 20K, 20,000. All right. So as don't worry, as long as you are, you got 3 credits and above, we will happy to like give you the rebates or maybe the scholarship. So you can always ask us, hey, what is the rebates right now? What is the scholarship right now? So I only got 5A. How is the scholarship? Is there any scholarship?
When will be your next intake?
Our next intake for foundation or diploma will be in June. So, and then after June will be September.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot, KK. Seems like we don't have any more questions left. So we would like to take this opportunity to thank SEGi as well, Ms. Priya and KK, for being with us, for spending your time to explain so much about what education is, and as well as your entry requirements. Right.